I have to be radically honest with you. Nobody is doing backtests properly today. Like I've seen across YouTube, people are doing single backtest. They're not doing proper statistical analysis. I'm going to show you how to do that today and get into it. If you're a complete beginner or even if you want some advanced methods, I'm going to talk about them both. So hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and like the video helps boost it in the algorithm. So let's just dive right in. This is Signal Swap. We're going to be talking about this platform today. And also, in general, AI is really bad at trading. Now, there's a lot of ways that I've seen people use AI in their trading. I'm just on Gemini. Just to be clear, I'm not completely wed to Gemini. I've used chatgpt, Claude. I really love Claude Code. We're going to be using Claude Code today in some of our more advanced methods. So we're just going to see how garbage this is for a second. It actually might be good. I'm doing a live test. I'm going to ask Gemini, well, Gemini, can you research the best stock opportunities for me to trade this week? Something close to a breakout so we can see is something up and coming, if Gemini can really dive into that and see if that's happening. And we're going to use foundational analysis as well, so it can research kind of the back end of the companies, what's going on, and also technical analysis. I've also plugged in deep research just so that we can get the most of it. I want to use the best of AI. So this is really, I don't want this to be a small prompt. I want it really to give me its best, well thought out answers. And so it researched crypto, Forex, all kinds of different markets, over 75 total citations. And I'm going to show you how much garbage this is, okay? I highly doubt this is going to work out in the real world, but, we could plot it out. We'll see if it works out. Actually, maybe it'll work out. I'm not going to trash it too early. For example, if we just break down the gold analysis really quickly using TA, it's recommending 4850, 4900 with a take profit of 5120. And plotting those on our chart are just our recent high and recent low that it's gathered for us, which is actually not telling us whether it thinks that it's going to be a flat market here, like it's just going to trend in this area for a while. But I mean, look at this blow off peak, right? Like we have no guarantee if we're even going to break out of this area here. So it is unclear because we could just keep crashing down. There's no confirmation yet. There was no real okay, well if we draw a line here, hypothetically, let's say we come down a time frame, we come here, we can see what's really going on. I mean, yeah, we might have some momentum here to break out, and if we do, yeah, that would be a good target. But there's no confirmation, at least yet. So, it's not the worst price action. It's not the worst technical analysis, but I've seen a lot of these. Let's do one more. We're going to check out Micron Tech. So 390 to 405 is our entry, and our target is 447, and it's supposed to be a memory supercycle. Now, that is true. There is a memory supercycle. Like people are talking about RAM. RAM is exploding in price right now. So that could be true. Let's check out the TA. So Micron has had an absolutely massive run up until the point that it is now, and we've had a massive blow off top again with a small rebound. So this could be just a double top, and it could completely capitulate. We've seen that happen in the crypto market before. So there's not even, you can't even really see a clear confirmation that we're bouncing here. This is where it's telling our entry, and it wants us to go up to not just the recent high, but the high before that one, the all-time high, which what are the odds that we have enough momentum to keep doing that? There might be a cool-off period. There's no guarantee that's going to happen immediately as well. And so, maybe entering down at these prices down here around 360, 365 might be a little bit better, but that's just what AI said. So, take it or leave it. Now, I'm personally not going to just take or leave it. I have a different method that I'm going to show you today. So this is my trading engine that I've developed. I'm not sharing the code for obvious reasons, but it basically does backtests, and it does them way faster than TradingView does. So it's essentially exactly like TradingView. It has, the charts. I can show you just one result here. This is what one of the results will look like. This is the training data, and the data is from 2018 all the way to, it looks like 2022, somewhat. I don't have the exact date here. So this is what the backtest output looks like. It's exactly like TradingView. It has all the parameters for my strategy right here, and then the net profit graph. Now this graph goes from 2018 to 2022, and then we have data that we have withheld. We have bootstrap training, so Monte Carlo simulations where we randomize the candlesticks, but I'm just showing you the training data. So you can see that after the after the training data ended, we withheld this data just to show it at the end after we had selected our parameters to see, well, how does this work on unseen data? Now, that's a really good way to do your backtests. And we didn't just do one backtest. This is one version of reality, but there are bootstraps, thousands of simulations of different randomized versions of history that this strategy held up in. Now, not all of them are going to pass, but if it's reliable in the vast majority of them, that is a really good sign because, we don't know which version of the future we're going to go into. So backtests aren't never guaranteed, but we can use that data, manipulate it, and spit out, some statistics. Like we can get reliable Sharpe and Sortino ratios from our actual tests. We're going to expect them to be far less good than our actual training data. You can see here the net profit was 203 here from 2022 to 2025, so over 3 years. And then the training data, which was a little bit more data, but it has over 700% profit with only 17% drawdown. So definitely better. But you can see that, the training data still went up. And notice how, so when we go to TradingView, what we want to also see, if we do our backtests on the entire data set, like if we do a deep backtest, we select for, the entire history all the way to the very beginning and then all the way to today. Well, we're not withholding any data. So when we tune our parameters, our strategy has already seen all of the data. So we can't actually know how it's going to respond if we had extra data. So that's why we split up the data and we do, maybe 50-50 or we have 60-40. So we just train on 60% of the data and then withhold this data over to the right-hand side of the chart. And then you would do a secondary backtest on that afterwards, just to confirm that it's still good, because some parameters might really work on only some of the data and some of it might work on, only like you want it to work on all the data, right? And for it to be flexible. And then also there's data that doesn't exist yet. It's in the future. That's the goal. You want it to work on the future data. So the nightmare that you do not want to see is if you do your backtest, let's say we set our TradingView alerts, we set it up, over on signalswap.io, and then we automate our strategy so it's trading automatically for us. Well, if this is our all-time high peak over on the right-hand side of our equity chart, and the chart just starts dropping from there, it looked good in history, but as soon as we hooked it up live, it started tanking. That is the worst nightmare. That's where you don't want to end up in. And that's why you want to withhold some of that data. And if you don't want to build your own strategy engine, signalswap.io is a great way to do this. This is my own website that I'm working on with developers. We're almost near launch. And if you want to come alpha test it, just send me a message in the Discord server. Just ping me over at our Discord channel. We have the link down in the description. And there is a backtesting feature. So this website you can hook up your Bybit strategies, Apex, Pinex strategies, and it'll trade automatically for you. But the best feature, and the one that I'm going to keep hammering, is that it does backtest for you in PineScript. So you upload your PineScript and then it does the backtest. So you set which parameters you want to tune from all the way through, and it'll do every single backtest that is possible within the grids that you set up. So if you want to test an EMA 1 to 50, it'll do every single EMA in between there. Or you could set a step. So you could jump up and do EMA 1, 3, 6, etc., etc. So the alpha testers can essentially get free access. If you want to help me test it out and report bugs and things like that, hook up your strategies, and also get them posted on the marketplace early. If you want to have an advantage, if you have a really good strategy, you want to post it on the marketplace, hook up your signals and start rolling them in, because you can publish to the marketplace if you have 2 months of data. So alpha traders who are helping out get a head start there to get first on the marketplace. So if you have a really good strategy, the marketplace is going to use only real signals. So all of the graphs that you'll see on the marketplace as it's built out, I'm going to add in all of my bots here. These are just test bots, are going to use only real data that was collected from the website, from the user's actual bot. If they choose to publish it, if it's doing really well, it'll give them the option to publish. If it's not doing well, fortunately, no, you can't publish. It actually has to be performing. And then also there will be this backtesting panel here, which I don't have configured for this test bot, but there will be graphics here showing something kind of like this panel here, just for, what actually happened in each phase of the backtest. So number one thing is here, I really got sick of configuring my trading strategy parameters myself. I'm going to show you how many settings there are. This strategy, the Wolfpack Elite bot, which I currently have access, but on wop.com/trade tactics, but not for that much longer. I'm going to publish it. I'm going to take it down from there soon, and then just start publishing good settings, because there's so many settings here to pick from. There are all kinds of flat filters and then also trade exit conditions that get really dynamic. And so there's trillions of possible configurations. Now I could sit here, and tune these, one by one by one, waiting for the backtest report on trading. You can see TradingView's spinning up a new backtest report because I changed one of the settings. Sitting here and tinkering with this for hours, this could take days or weeks to do manually to actually get good results. And then you have to test on 40% of the data, and then show it the testing data after you've done, because you have out of sample data, in sample data. It's just impossible to do this kind of thing manually. But the good thing is that signalswap.io does all of these automatically and gives you the best settings. So it's a very similar kind of approach here. Like I have my strategy here. It's telling me which parameters to pick from. I also have it here just on the center of the screen. So Wolfpack wavelength, that's 99. So if I went over to TradingView and I went on this is the Cardano 5-minute chart, because for whatever reason I was feeling extremely risky and bold and wanted to do the 5-minute chart, but we actually got some fairly good results. It does have a 25% win rate, but it is the 5-minute chart. And, when it wins, it looks like it's doing, not too bad. Even though in testing data, 200% in 3 years is actually not bad if that's reliable. Like if I can actually trust, that is pretty awesome. So there's breakdowns of other metrics here. We have the out of sample data, in sample data. This is just like TradingView. So if you look at TradingView's strategy report, these numbers line up perfectly. So you have a good idea of, what it's going to look like on TradingView. Exact same logic was built into this. So that's the general idea. SignalSwap, basically you sign up, use the SignalSwap link for Bybit. If you click this link, it'll link to Bybit, and if you use that link there, it'll give you free access to the website right here, free access forever. And then premium, you do get the backtests, but you get free access. You can trade, you get your webhooks. There's full level encryption with rotating keys, and really sophisticated system that we have. And obviously the higher tiers, if people are really serious about backtesting, then that's built into the website. I'm hammering in the backtesting because I just don't see any other website out there that's doing that. So this website, if you go to signalswap.io, it's locked right now, but join the Trade Tactics Discord and then ping me if you want to get alpha testing, and I'll just give you a free subscription, and you could test out the website. If too many people start coming over and pinging me for access, I'm probably not going to need that many alpha testers, but just for now, and then we'll roll out beta testing and get people onto the website as soon as we can. And then in the Discord, I'll probably do like a full presentation whenever we're launching the website. As for the main purpose of this video, that the one tidbit of advice, because I got a lot of questions in the last video. This is one of the most advanced methods around. So SignalSwap gives you the backtesting for you. But if you are looking to use Claude or like Claude Code, or OpenClaw is really popular. I've seen ZeroClaw, I've seen all these different versions of Claw, but so who knows which one will be available when you watch this video. But this method will work with all of those. And so I have a really good system prompt for this in Droid. I'm using Droid with Claude Opus 4.6 currently. Just if you're watching later, we are on the 4.6 model right now. This is the newest model currently. And what Droid is programmed to do is to build elements of this strategy and then run it through my backtest engine that I showed you earlier. This backtest engine that I have here, which I'm not showing, all of the code, but this is my backtest engine, just the homepage for it. And so I can just give a simple prompt here to my Droid terminal. This is Droid. It's a wrapper for Claude Opus, so it just plugs into Claude directly. And I'm just asking it to brainstorm 4 different exit signals, so take profit amounts, and then to test them. And it's going to do this all for me completely automatically. So the brilliant thing that AI is capable of is, because I have the trading engine and the architecture for it, it's going to just use that. And it's going to research different ideas for take profit levels or stop losses, and then we're going to see if it actually improves the results, and it's going to optimize it for me. So because it can optimize it for me, and it can change the signals, the entry rules, it can configure all of those, and it can add math or change the math and then run it and re-optimize the parameters. It can tell me if there's any parameters in there that are actually good, that are actually going to lead to robust results. Now, this is very similar to machine learning, where the machine learning, can, for example, create candlesticks. It could create fake trading data. And in order to do that, it might reward the machine if it gets, candlesticks that it generates that are somewhat realistic, or it could penalize the machine if it gets candlesticks that are unrealistic. And we can do machine learning for essentially almost any kind of statistical method or any kind of new technology out there. So, AI has been able to solve protein folding, for example. It's able to solve and build new AI chips, for example, new microchips. And so what we're doing now is just using this isn't technically machine learning because it's AI learning, but AI is going to build it all for us. So it's adding this all into the engine and then plugging it in to test it to see if it's going to work or not. Now, all I have to do is, sit back. This whole process might take, with Claude Opus, it can work up to like 3 hours. You could walk away and come back to your computer and it'll finish. Like you can go to bed and wake up and then it'll be done. So what's really chill is that Claude Code and these models that, through the CLI interface that you're looking at right here, all the code that's spinning on the screen, these CLI interfaces, they used to work for like 5 minutes, but then they would just give up and stop. And I'm noticing that they're able to put in Claude Opus 4.6 a lot more effort into cycling the deep amounts of effort and tokens until the job is really finished. So it's able to check in and, it will stop and ask you questions. If it does have any questions, if you're unclear with it, it will stop and then it'll do that for you. But yeah, essentially, here it is. It's spinning up 4 different new exit rules. You can see batches of 4 there. Each of these is a new rule. And then we're going to see if they're any good. And then all I have to do is come back. It'll run the trading engine and it'll give me the new results when it's all done. So that is honestly one of the most brilliant methods. And, in the next video, I have an even better method for you. This is one of the more advanced ones. If you don't have a whole trading engine, don't worry, just subscribe and wait for the next video. I promise you it's going to be really juicy, something that I've been doing a lot with AI. And so, for example, this is the Sui coin. This was only available since 2023, so there isn't that much data, but we have 50 trades here. This is the training data, and 29% drawdown isn't, the worst. It's not the best, though, either. But the testing data was only 16% drawdown, so that's why I found this one a little bit interesting. These are some of the results that it was able to find automatically for me. It launches these little dashboards for me. I come back to my screen, and it gives me completely new trading rules and sometimes a completely new strategy that is developed for me. And yeah, this has 118% net profit just since 2024. So, these new fresh coins, they're pretty interesting to train on. And I could train on any coin or any equity, gold. I can train this on Forex, Nvidia, Tesla, any crypto, and so that is the kind of brilliance of this way of developing strategies that I think is going to become, right now, this is bleeding edge. This is the new tech that nobody's really talking about. So that's why I've built a lot of my videos around this lately that I wanted to share with you guys. Right now, even though this website's in alpha testing, if you want to become an alpha tester and help me out so that you can really make the most of the website, get the testing in that I desperately need right now. I have only a couple alpha testers so far. So yeah, please come through to the Discord. Send me a message. I'm highly responsive. If I'm not working, I might be away, but I definitely will get back to you if you're in there. And of course, in the Trade Tactics Discord, I have my bot settings here that I published, but I was tuning all of these myself with the Wolfpack Elite bot. But that's the problem. I was doing all these manually, and so that's why I built these automated methods for building it. So yeah, when you're in the Discord, make sure you look for the actual real me. There's fake liquid accounts that will try to message you and scam you. Do not fall for their timer. But also, you can come here and check the working scripts section. There are a lot of really active people here, still super active. There's new strategies every week, and you can come in and contribute. You can download their open source code. All these are, open source. You come in, people are posting settings and charts, and also here's the full scripts. They're all right here. So Trade Tactics Discord, free to join, and you can come contribute. This is an open source community. We love to help new people learn and grow. And so hit the subscribe button, like the video, and of course, I have a really important video you don't want to miss out. So please hit that subscribe button and the bell notification, and I'll see you in that video.